a mother of two in emergency housing, has been booted out of her temporary accommodation to free up space for Sevens fans. Work and Income told Victoria Cronin, 22, she had to leave her Hamilton hotel room this coming Friday morning. She and her children, Amelia, 3, and Archer, 11 months, had been living at the Ulster St address for more than a month and on Monday were preparing to spend the weekend living in her car. But after stuff became involved in her case, the Ministry of Social Development informed her they could put a roof over their heads after all. Sevens fans are due to arrive in Hamilton on Friday ahead of the weekend's festivities. File. Read more. Night shelters at full capacity as Hamilton sees shortage in social housing. Desperate South Auckland couple have less than 4 weeks left in emergency housing. Accommodation crunch sees emergency grants double to $33.1 million in 2 years. It's not the first time those in emergency accommodation in Hamilton have been forced out ahead of big events in the city. The problem was first highlighted in 2018 during Field Days week when some of those in emergency accommodation were turfed out to make way for long-term standing bookings. In one case, a woman ended up being trespassed from a local BP service station after failed attempts to find her somewhere to stay for the night. Cronin said the whole experience had been very stressful as they would have been forced to live out of their car and she's frustrated with the lack of communication that resulted in her having sleepless nights. It was during an appointment with her caseworker on January 17 that she was first told the news that she had to be out on Friday and that she would then be on her own, with no assurances given that she'd get another room once the international rugby tournament was over. It's not the first time those in emergency accommodation in Hamilton have been forced out ahead of big events in the city, with a similar situation occurring during Field Days. I think it's really unfair. I have talked to a few people about it and they agree, regardless of the booking. WINZ should have had something set up beforehand and told us beforehand. They would have known the Sevens were on. The majority of the family's belongings are in the one room, but they had started to do a clear out in anticipation of being forced to call their car home for the weekend. It's been very stressful. It would be really helpful if Work and Income started communicating with their clients, especially with situations like these. It's really hard anyway to be in a hotel room, but to get kicked out when you've got one is hard. We know there is a housing crisis, but when you find out you have to move out for a week for a rugby game, that is what really frustrates me, because it's just a rugby game. I am not ungrateful for being here or anything like that. I am very grateful, but it's about communication and the lack of communication to this point in time. If we had known in plenty of time, we probably could have sorted something out and sorted it with no stress. Cronin is hoping to find a more permanent home but believes her age and having 2 young children count against her when meeting with potential landlords. She is on the list for a housing NZ home. Work and Income Regional Commissioner Te Rahia Papish said concerns had only been raised by one other client in regards to emergency accommodation during the Sevens. We've managed emergency housing availability during events such as the annual agricultural field days, the British and Irish Lions tour in 2017 and other events. We have strategies in place to help us prepare for long-standing events, like pre-booking motel units in advance and paying for motel accommodation for longer, Papish said. She said they see emergency housing clients every 7 days and we work with them and moteliers well ahead of long-standing events to ensure there are options. The temporary nature of emergency accommodation means it's an ever-changing environment and things may be different from one week to the next, but we're well prepared for any potential changes with the Sevens. We have rooms booked ahead, and if needed, can help people temporarily move around the district to say Waipa or Hauraki, or outside the region to say Bay of Plenty and other emergency accommodation. We can also assist with transport and petrol costs for people to temporarily relocate. Staff